What's up, Deltona? Jennifer Zaworski. South Carolina, Robert, South Carolina, you're going to need Noah's Ark by Wednesday. I heard Laurel laugh in the weather office at that one. You're going to need my Ark by Wednesday. There's immense rain coming to the Carolinas from this later in the week. Samsula, Florida, Billy Morton. What's up, Volusia? Yankeetown, Melbourne, Kristen, Ocala, Marissa. Watching you since Paducah. I'm in Gainesville, Gentry. Oh, what's up? How you doing? I got to get up to Gainesville this fall for a football game. I think UCF plays them. I want to try to go to that game. Never been to Gainesville yet. All right, so latest is Tornado Watch. If you just clicked on our YouTube or Facebook, Tornado Watch through the rest of the night. I think the Tornado Watch will actually, the tornado threat will actually increase as we go through the night heading into tomorrow morning. So it's very important before I come off of this graphic, having lived in Kentucky for 6 years and have tracked, I don't know how many nocturnal tornadoes. Now granted, I've been through far too many EF3, 4 tornadoes in Paducah area. Thankfully, those don't occur really here, but the same thing about nocturnal tornadoes holds true. They're the most dangerous, and they do the most injuries and fatalities of any type of tornadoes because obviously most people are sleeping. Even though Florida does get tornadoes from tropical systems, it's important tonight when you go to bed, leave your ringer on, leave the volume up so that if a tornado is issued for your location, you can wake up, you can flip us on Fox 35. We'll have the warning coverage on your TV, streaming on the website and through the app. So it's important tonight. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just saying, and most of you won't see a tornado. That's how this works. But some may overnight, and the risk will increase relative to where it is now. So when you go to bed, leave your phone on, so if there's a warning, you can get alerted, woken up, and be safe from that. So here's the sustained winds in the last few minutes, 5 to 15 miles an hour from the southeast. Gusts are starting to pick up. In the last 10 minutes, a gust to 35 almost in the Villages, in Leesburg, 32 in Winter Haven, 33 in Bushnell, 26 in Sanford, 29, Cocoa Beach, 25 over in Palm Coast. Temperatures are holding steady. We're in the 70s out there right now. It is tropically humid. Dew points are in the mid to upper 70s. And not much of a heat index to speak of currently. All right, so peak wind gusts from this, I'm going to get out of the way so you can see this full screen. There's the gusts overnight. Now, when will these occur, you ask? 3 a.m. to about noon. 3 a.m. to noon, 75 or plus miles an hour in the pink, so that's Gainesville over towards Cedar Key, Horseshoe Beach. That's where hurricane force gusts will occur. 60 to 75 gusts for a few hours, and that's going to be in the morning. We've had Stephanie Buffamonte, our reporter, out in Ocala tonight, and to be honest, it's really, as I told her via text, it's just rain with a name out there this evening. The real weather in Ocala and Marion County arrives tomorrow morning. That's when some gusts to 60 or plus miles an hour are probable. In the orange, 45 to 60. That includes Claremont, Leesburg, Longwood, Deltona, Daytona Beach, Palm Coast, St. Augustine. And then in the yellow, 30 to 45 are Titusville, Cocoa Beach, Melbourne, Mico down towards Fort Meade. But again, these gusts will be realized between 3 a.m. and noon. And it's now 8:35 p.m. So we're still hours away from that. In terms of rain from this system, here's the forecast from the folks at the Weather Prediction Center. Now, this is a broad brush. This is not a down to the scientific decimal point number. This is a very broad scale, broad brush stroke view. So my point of saying that is there will be spots that are way above this. This is a good, though, 30,000 foot view of the rain. And Laurel's going to talk more about this after we take a break at 8:45. But notice how the track of this I've overlaid. It kind of meanders through South Georgia, slows down, and does a loop. They could have historic flooding. I don't know about quite to Florence level, where that Florence was a storm that occurred in 2018 in the Carolinas, but there certainly could be spots here, 15 to 30 inches of rain. Savannah, Georgia, Charleston, South Carolina, Tuesday, Wednesday, and even into Thursday. Notice the pink here, that's 10 inches to a foot. So 10 inches to a foot in Gainesville. This purple is 6 to 12. The red is 5 to 8. The orange is about 3 to 6 and then less. But again, that's the broad stroke. I just wanted to show you what's going to happen upstream with this. And let me show you our Fox model, which is pretty eye-catching. This white up here, these are spots of 30 to 40 inches of rain. In fact, I'll query some of these for you here. So this is our exclusive Fox model for the rain potential through the rest of this storm. And notice here some of these bands. The broad stroke, I just wanted to show you what's going to happen upstream with this. And let me show you our Fox model, which is pretty eye-catching. This white up here, these are spots of 30 to 40 inches of rain. In fact, I'll query some of these for you here. So this is our exclusive Fox model for the rain potential through the rest of this storm. And notice here some of these bands, 18, see there, 15, look offshore, 28. There will be spots of over 2 feet of rain in the Wilmington area. So yeah, this white, all these white shades are 15 to 30 inches of rain from what will be Hurricane Debby's remnants over the next couple of days. But for our area, let me zoom this in and show you. This is our latest Fox model. Let me confirm the time that it came in. Actually, I'm going to change this to a different model just because I want to show you it in a different way. So let's talk rain quickly. Talk rain quickly. Here you go. So here's the rain forecast. This is through close of business tomorrow. So through the sundown tomorrow night, here's how much rain. And you can kind of see how our area, as we've discussed at great length, it's more the further northwest you are. Notice the purple, everywhere there's purple is 6+. Now, a couple of things. The risk of there being significant flooding is going to be highest in these areas. So the Villages, Ocala, I think there'll be some really good flooding, really significant flooding, I mean, in Marion County tomorrow, Gainesville. Now, notice the I-4 corridor. See this purple? Notice I didn't say that's going to be that bad. Why? Well, Orlando is actually 10.5 inches of rain below average for the year. So even though it's going to rain to beat the band along the I-4 corridor, and your commute in the morning tomorrow will probably be a pain with blinding rain and wind, when I think the core of this is for Central Florida, 6-7 inches of rain, even if that occurs in Seminole County, Orange County, the ground can take that because of how dry it is, the soil moisture down. We're almost a foot of rain below average for the year in this area. So the ground can take that there. A little bit different story because in the spring and in the early summer, there's been a lot more rain up here. And the ground, the flash flood guidance, we call it, so basically how much rain has to fall for the ground to flood, is a lot lower up here, which means all of this up here is going to certainly flood by tomorrow morning. But I'll zoom this in and show you. There you see Ocala, the Villages. There's one model. I'll show you a different model for the rain quickly just to see a second opinion. You know, many of you like to see a second opinion. Here's another version, which notice, I don't think this is quite representative for areas east of I-4. Notice it's a lot less, but certainly Marion County, you see 10 inches. Ocala, 6.5. Gainesville, parts of Marion County, 6 to 12. I really like that forecast there. Here's our other version of our Fox model for the rain quickly. Total accumulation. There you see. Parts of Marion County, Reddick, that white is close to a foot of rain. The Villages, 6 to 12. But again, it's just uncanny how I-4 and west, more I-4 and east, it gets a lot spotty. But don't look at this in the green if you live like UCF and say, oh, psh, no rain. West of I-4, it's much more uniform, like 6 to 12 of rain. East of I-4, it's a lot more spotty, where there'll be spots east of I-4 that get 2 inches and spots that get 7. This blob here could easily be over Orlando, but the point is I-4 and west, pretty confident 6 inches to a foot of rain. East of I-4, it'll be a lot more variable based on how that band of stuff sets up shop in the morning. So let's talk some radar analysis now for you. So here's the live radar, 8:40. So a couple of things. First, we did have some campers flipped. We got that report into our newsroom. I think we'll include that on the news at 10. By the way, we'll have a full hour of news. Make sure you watch before you go to bed. 10 to 11, Fox 35. But we had a tornado warning a hot minute ago for Brevard County, and this feeder band here you see, that's now offshore. This was the one earlier this afternoon, which I'm still shocked did produce more tornado warnings. But these are both offshore now and moving offshore. So we're catching a little bit of a break. There's really not much doing right now. The Metro, Orlando, Lakeland, Sebring, Brevard County, just some steady light to at times moderate rain in Marion County. But the next thing we're keeping an eye on for Central Florida is what's going on in the Tampa area. There's flash flood warnings, and there's a series of tornado warnings, at least there has been, in Sarasota and Manatee County. And these are the rotating supercells that I'm concerned about for Clearmont, the Villages, Orange County, Sumter County, Seminole County at midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., because these rotating storms are heading for us in about 3, 4, 5 hours. But you see the flash flood warnings that are down here. There's been well over 8 inches of rain. I think Anna Maria Island is about 9 inches of rain so far. But there's the center of your strong tropical storm. Pretty clear to see. The eye is cleared out on radar. There's been some dry air. Notice how, now the radar doesn't really see all that way out there, but notice how there's this monster band of convection on the easternmost eye wall. It's not really the eye wall, but the eastern side of the inner core. That's intense convection. And look on the western side, not as much. So there's a little bit of dry air out here that's kind of gotten sucked in on the southern side, which at least temporarily has limited the rapid intensification. But that is probably not going to matter because it seems to be, at least off the radar, that this is really clearing out an eye. And I still wouldn't rule out a Category 2 hurricane at landfall by the time this gets up close to Cedar Key at Horseshoe Beach by tomorrow morning. Our David Martin is situated in Cedar Key. And when you watch Good Day Orlando tomorrow, they'll probably get hit quite hard at the hours of 6, 7, 8, 9 a.m. With some 80, 90, 100-mile-an-hour gusts as the eastern eye wall comes in. Now, let me look at some of your comments quick. So we're going to take a couple questions here. I want to make sure I engage with y'all. Thank you for watching, by the way. We're going to take a quick break, so please stay with us. If you're on our Facebook page or our YouTube, you're going to see this ad thingy play for about 2 minutes. That's because, oh, you will? Great. I'm just talking to our producer and our digital content manager, Josh, who told me you'll still see us. So that's great. So if you're watching on our Fox local platform, that's the app for your TV, you'll see a break for 2 minutes. But on YouTube and Facebook, we'll keep going here. So let me look at some of your questions, and then we'll talk more about the simulated radar. I'll show you that for tomorrow. All right, thank you all for staying with us. All right, we're back. We're here. We didn't go anywhere. Sorry we lost some of you. So I want to take some of your questions quick, then I'll show you the hour-by-hour forecast. Then we're going to bring in meteorologist Laurel Blanchard for some more on the situation here. Jim, winds in Ocoee, what will it look like? Jim Nichols, 40 to 50 gusts tomorrow morning in Ocoee. When is the next band going to hit Brevard? Quincy Smith. Probably not in Brevard till like, 3 in the morning. So there's several hours of break there. How worried should we be in Gainesville? Well, I would never be worried from the weather. Like I used to tell people with tornadoes in Kentucky, the only time you should be worried is if you're unprepared. And it's the same with hurricanes. If you didn't do anything, you're not aware of the forecast, you didn't do anything to prepare, yeah, then you should be worried. But if you're prepared and informed, you should never be worried. That's number one. But Gentry, you might get some hurricane force gusts in 8 to 10 inches of rain, 10 to 15 inches of rain in Gainesville tomorrow morning. So Gainesville, there'll be some power outages. There'll be some pretty good impacts around Gainesville tomorrow morning and midday for sure. Lori, your parents live in South Carolina. Oh, yeah, they're going to get flooding. How's the weather going to change for us? Seminole County with the track moving northeast earlier. Bill Davis, more rain. more rain, and it will rain longer tomorrow. In fact, the majority of the rain probably will be tomorrow. As I know some of you are probably scratching the side of your head saying, where's all the weather at in Central Florida? Well, it's going to be tomorrow morning now. Lake City, DeLand, how intense are we talking? Deltona, Ray, anything to worry about here in Celebration, Angelica, really just tomorrow morning. So a lot of you are asking about this town, that town, my town, here, there, everywhere. Let me show you the hour-by-hour forecast then. And then, Laurel, you ready over there? Okay, so I'm going to run you all through the hour-by-hour forecast. Then we're going to bring in Laurel. So real quick, if you missed the first part of the live, there'll be significant rain that goes up into South Carolina. Notice that white, that's 15 to 30 inches of rain from this that's going to fall. Laurel, if you could pull up the cone too, as I didn't show that yet, so if you want to pull that up, that would be great. So here's the peak wind gust from earlier so far. We had a 55 gust at MCO, 52 at Orlando Executive, 46 Umatilla, 43 at Apopka from earlier. Here is the live infrared satellite as of the 8 o'clock advisory. Winds of 70. So we are on the verge of Hurricane Debby. I'm fairly confident when you watch us on the news later, we'll be able to tell you that this has been upgraded to Hurricane Debby. So as of the 8 o'clock advisory, winds sustained at 70. Officially moving north at 12. I still kind of think it's got a little bit of an east lean to it. It is on the east side of the cone still. Pressure is about 992 millibars. But notice this huge burst of convection on the east side. That weather is going to go like this over the I-4 corridor tomorrow morning. While this cloud canopy here, we call this a CDO, or there's a couple of ways. Don't look at me, I didn't make all the lingo. This big canopy of black, that's the dense cloud canopy around the eye. That's where the hurricane force gusts are going to go tomorrow morning up here. Cedar Key, Horseshoe Beach, Tallahassee probably won't get hurricane force gusts. But that's the real bad stuff, and David Martin will be live right there, and they'll probably get the eastern side of the eye wall tomorrow morning. But this separate feeder band is going to set up shop over the I-4 corridor tomorrow, and that's going to be the core of the weather that the Orlando area gets. Remember, the infrared satellite tells you the temperature of the cloud tops, and you notice there's actually a ton of lightning right there, right now on the eastern side of the eye wall. How's Daytona Beach looking tomorrow? Paul, is it safe to leave MCO Airport? Luke, I'm not a pilot. If I didn't do TV or weather, it's one thing that's on the list is I would love to be a meteorologist pilot. I'd give a weather report every flight I would do. You believe me. You trust me. But I would expect there's going to be a lot of delays and a lot of cancellations at MCO tomorrow. There'll be a lot of that for sure. So I promised you the hour-by-hour forecast. Let's walk through that now, and then we're going to bring in Laurel Blanchard for some more on all of this. So let me get this to the latest model. So here we go. Let me add a pause point in here. You're getting the raw, uncut, unfiltered version of the forecast here. I love it. So let me just add a pause point here, there, and everywhere. So let me walk you through this quick. We'll take about 2 minutes on this. So here's the hour-by-hour forecast. So notice there's the break we're talking about right now. This model tries to fire up another band that goes towards the beaches by 1 in the morning. So this again could produce tornadoes. Palm Coast, Daytona, Titusville, Mims, Cocoa, Melbourne. So 1 o'clock, 1, 2 in the morning, another band. Notice then there's a break of just nothing. This is 2 in the morning at the time, 3, 4. And now we start to get that band I showed you on the satellite of intense convection on the east side of the outer core. That starts to come in. And now we get just training convection, training thunderstorms, and this is when the winds are the strongest. I don't have a graphic for you yet because I haven't had time to make it, but if I did, it would say 3 a.m. to noon in big bold letters. So 3 to 12 tomorrow. That's the peak of the rain, the peak of the wind. There still will be a risk of tornadoes through the afternoon tomorrow, but the main rain, the main wind is 3 a.m. to noon tomorrow. So the morning commute, I-4, yeah, that's going to be a mess. I-75, a mess. Here's 9 o'clock in the morning. This is when you'll have your hurricane force gusts in Gainesville back towards Cedar Key, maybe 50 to 60 gusts in Ocala. Notice the rain that just trains over Orlando. Notice honestly, some of the heaviest storms and rain over Orlando, Sanford, Lake Mary, Altamont, down towards Kissimmee, UCF, Winter Park. That's all about noon tomorrow. And then that line pushes east. This could produce tornadoes 2 o'clock tomorrow, the Space Coast. Then things start to lighten up. There's that line there. You see there's another line here. That's how things work post a hurricane, is you get these lines that just set up shop and rain. And within these lines where they sit, that's where there locally could be some flooding. But by 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow, things start to wind down pretty good. So that's the hour-by-hour forecast for tomorrow. And for more on this, I'm going to bring in Laurel Blanchard, who's our newest meteorologist. Laurel, how you doing?
Hey, doing well, Noah. How are you?
I'm not caffeinated enough, Laurel. I need more caffeine.
Hey, I feel like nobody can get enough caffeine, and especially where we're going to be around the clock, making sure you are completely informed with what's happening with Tropical Storm, possibly soon to be Hurricane Debby, and we'll talk about that in 1 second. But we are going to be here for you, giving you the absolute weather latest until Debby finally starts to wind down. So let's actually get to the latest cone. So currently, this is from the 8 o'clock drop from the National Hurricane Center, updating the position of the storm. Right now, currently, we're looking at about 70-mile-per-hour winds, which just puts it just low of a hurricane status. So that's what we're looking at for the strength of the storm at the moment. The storm going to continue to work its way up. As of right now, working somewhere within the Big Bend, probably about Apalachicola. But other than that, we are still definitely seeing a little bit of a shift within the current status of what we're seeing with the current eye wall. So Noah was saying that we were looking at this eye wall a little bit more to the easterly parts of this track, and that is still pretty concurrent with what we're seeing at the moment. But we are going to keep a very close eye, especially because we can definitely still see this storm continuing to remain hurricane status, even if it makes its way a little bit more inland, more towards the Florida-Georgia line, and continuing to work its way up. And this, we've very much stressed this already, it's going to drop a significant amount of rain, especially across the Georgia up the Carolina coastline, as the storm kind of just sits and spins and hangs out just off the eastern coast. So that's really what we're going to be focusing on, and that's going to be one of our main threats, even in central Florida, is going to be that flooding. So that's the current cone, that's the current position of where the storm's at the moment, and of course we'll have all the latest with the updates from the National Hurricane Center. We did mention that currently the storm holding 70-mile-per-hour winds, so just to tell you how strong this storm is already, to actually be a tropical storm, you need to have at least 39-mile-per-hour winds, and that's what gets it the name as well. So once Debby hit 39-mile-per-hour winds, it officially became Tropical Storm Debby. Now, if it gets over 73 miles per hour, mind you, this storm is already at 70-mile-per-hour winds, and that could possibly bump that up as we head into a little bit later on tonight and officially become Hurricane Debby at a Category 1 state, which goes to about 94 miles per hour before it comes to Category 2. So now let's take a current look at the radar. These rain bands definitely going to be a pain as we head through the overnight tonight, dropping a lot of rain and also producing very quick spin-up tornadoes that we've already seen a little bit earlier on this evening. So we're going to be keeping an eye on all of these little rain bands and, of course, a little bit closer to the center core with Noah already touched on this, but these little areas that were already causing tornado warnings across the Tampa Bay, Clearwater area going to be swinging up into parts of Levy and as well as parts of Dixie, even parts of Gilchrist County as we head into very late tonight into early tomorrow morning. So that's what we're looking at the moment. Let's break down current warnings and also threats of what we can be expecting for the rest of the overnight tonight into tomorrow. And Noah, if you see any comments or any questions, please let me know about them. I don't really have access to my phone at the moment to keep an eye. Yeah, that'd be great. So what we're seeing right now is currently a tornado watch across most of Florida. We can see once again the threat for tornadoes for quite a while, and we're going to keep that going through the rest of this evening into tomorrow as well. Because take a look at this, through the rest of the overnight tonight, going to be seeing that very likely scenario for very quick spin-ups for the rest of the evening. Now as we head through the day tomorrow, we are going to be seeing... We're going to be seeing that threat of storms. This is what we do here in the Weather Center when we finally have a little bit of a break. As we do take a look, we are going to be seeing that moderate risk for the rest of the evening, seeing that red zone. So areas across Levy, Gilchrist, parts of Marion County, even up into Alachua County, seeing that moderate risk for flooding. And we even see that high risk in those areas, just to the north, parts of Marion, parts of Levy, parts of Gilchrist, as well as parts of Dixie County, seeing a very high flood chance as we head through the day tomorrow. A little bit of a close in there. Even areas, especially across Lake County and Sumter County, going to be in that moderate risk as well. So flooding, one of the main threats with this storm. And even as we do take a little bit of a further look out, this is what we're expecting for rain. I know Noah touched on this, so we'll breeze through pretty quickly. Possibly looking at about 7 to 10 inches in Ocala of rain by the time the storm finally starts to let up here across central Florida, dropping anywhere up to 20 inches across the South Carolina and Georgia coastline a little bit later on. So as we do take a further look, we are currently seeing hurricane warnings, especially across areas across parts of Dixie, and now even this hurricane watch and parts of Levy County. So that's what we're going to be seeing for that, and that's really the latest of what we're going to be expecting for threats in the immediate future for the next 48 hours.
So we've got less than 3 minutes left. I wanted to pop off some questions for you.
Bring it on. Let's do it.
A lot of people saying hello.
Hi, everybody.
Let's see. Hurricane snacks, I saw a mention of that. A lot of people were asking about the timing of the worst weather, which I think still clearly we can say is tomorrow morning.
Yes, tomorrow morning. That's been the major shift in the National Hurricane Center updates, is actually pushing the storm landfall and the worst of the weather a little bit more into Monday as opposed to late tonight, early Monday morning.
If you have a question on our Facebook or YouTube, please put it in here. Just want to say hello.
Here, real quick, we'll break down county by county.
7 to 10 in Ocala. That's the first time that's ever. Daniel, that's been our going forecast for a while. That amount of rain in Ocala. I think Ocala was pretty good to be over 6 inches of rain. Yeah,
we've been saying that for at least a day now is what we were going to be expecting with that. As for county by county, let's break this down real quick. We're talking Dixie, Gilchrist, Levy, Alachua. Worst of the weather, going to be seeing that later on tonight through Monday, and possibly going to be seeing gusts of 55 to 65 miles per hour. Going to be seeing rain totals 6 to 8 inches across that zone. Let's bring it off to the coastline now, going for Volusia, Flagler, Seminole counties. Worst of the weather going to be through Monday, and going to be expecting wind gusts 20 to 35 miles per hour. Total rain totals 2 to 4 inches. Isolated tornadoes are possible as well. And last little zone right over here, Brevard County, which already saw some isolated tornadoes already. Keeping that risk for isolated tornadoes, gusts 25 to 35 miles per hour, and anywhere from rain going to be 2 to 4 inches, but possibly even a little bit more, especially in that zone where we saw that tornado warning a little bit earlier this evening for Brevard.
Laurel, great job.
Thank you. Thank you. We got you covered for the rest of the night, for sure.
We will see everybody at 10 to 11. We've got a full hour of news and weather. We'll be here till 2-ish, 3-ish.
2, 3-ish, yes.
And we'll pass the baton to Brooks and Jess, but we will have coverage and warnings on air if we have any warnings. Remember, you can stream us on the Fox Local app. If you have a smart TV, you can watch our stream through there for free.
Which that's pretty cool, by the way.
Easy and free. Put it on your smart TV and the news app and the website, and we will see you. But again, before you go to bed, leave your phone on and watch us for that full hour at 10. We'll get you everything in the latest, which I do think by then we'll officially have Hurricane Debby.
Yeah, definitely make sure you have multiple ways in order to get warnings. And of course, be safe tonight.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Advisory here, but look at the winds. We are talking 70 miles per hour. To get a Category 1, 75 miles per hour, and we are expecting continued strengthening with Debby, especially as we go into the overnight hours, which is a hot spot for strengthening of any kind of tropical system. This is what it looks like on enhanced satellite. We're starting to see an eye begin to form and some more intense thunderstorms around that eye wall. So all signs that we could have